Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Kate from WordStream, and I am here just to get our webinar started, take care of a few housekeeping items, and then pass you right off to our speaker so we can dive in quickly. Today's webinar is, as you can see, pay-per-click marketing for the travel industry, and this is our top 11 tips to help you get an insane ROI. I'm really excited about today's presentation. WordStream is partnering with Hanapin Marketing, and we've been working together for years, and they produce a lot of great content. So I'm excited about what we have to share with you today. You can participate in the conversation both through the questions tab in your control box or by joining us on Twitter, #TravelPPC, or you can use our Twitter handles Hanapin and @WordStream. And you can see that hashtag's at the bottom in case you forget. So for those who don't know, WordStream is a search marketing software provider with free and paid tools to help you easily grow your AdWords and Bing campaigns. And as you can see, we're recently named a Google Premier AdWords SMB partner. So that means that Google recognizes us as having quality product and quality service to help you guys out. So basically, we know what we're talking about. And today's speaker from WordStream is Margot DeCuna, and she is our vertical content specialist. So I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself and her specialties.
Hi everyone, I'm Margot from WordStream, and I'm really excited to be here today. So I've been working at WordStream for about a year and a half now, and I am focused on creating vertical content for the marketing team. I previously worked on the customer success team, so I've spent a lot of time working really closely with our WordStream customers here. And I'm actually speaking at HeroConf in Portland, so I'm really excited about that to work again closely with Hanapin. And when I'm not working, I really like to run, and I'm obsessed with ice cream. So those are some of the things I like to do on my free time. If you want to tweet at me anything about the webinar, any questions that come up, comments, just feel free to tweet right at my Twitter name @ChappyMargo.
Awesome, thank you so much. And we have a second speaker from Hanapin Marketing, and this is Wesley Lanier, and I'll let him tell you guys a little bit about their agency and himself.
Sure. Thank you, Kate. My name is Wesley Lanier. I'm the account manager with Hanapin Marketing. Hanapin Marketing is an industry-leading digital marketing agency. We specialize in pay-per-click advertising. We're also the author of the PPC Hero blog, and we also produce the largest all-PPC conference, HeroConf, which will take place in Portland, Oregon, from April 27th through April 29th this year. So you all can look forward to that as well. Just personally, I'm really passionate about digital marketing. I like to work with the clients we have here at Hanapin to help understand their business and then execute their business strategy through PPC. And I'm a really big sports fan. I love playing basketball. I love watching basketball. So this is a great time of year for me, just with NCAA March Madness as well. And with that being right here near the Bloomington area where Hanapin is located. So that's just a little bit about myself, and I'm really glad to be on this webinar cooperating with WordStream as well. So that's just a bit about myself there.
Awesome. Well, we are so happy to have you today. I do want to let everybody know the webinar is being recorded, and I will send the slides and the recording out this afternoon. So if you missed anything or you want to share it with your friends, you will have access to that in a few hours. So just a last reminder to throw your questions in the control box. Look for that recording this afternoon. We will have time, about 10 minutes or so, for Q&A at the end. So I'll be keeping track of those throughout the webinar, and we also will be sharing a little bit more information with you about HeroConf. I went last year, and like Margot said, she'll be speaking. So we're really big fans of the conference and the learning opportunities there. So we just want to tell you a little more about it. That's all from me. I'm going to pass it over to Margot, and we'll jump right in.
All right, so let's get started. To start off, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background on the travel industry within search. So the question is, do travelers actually search? Do they go onto Google and do they conduct searches? And the answer is absolutely. So 15 years ago, people used to book their travel by turning to a travel agency. That's no longer the case. Now, people are pretty much solely starting their travel on search on the internet. So Google actually conducted a study recently with Ipsos Media, and they found that 74% of both leisure and travel planning occur on the internet. So you can see, people are planning their travel by going online. If you think about it, the last trip you went on, you probably started to get some ideas from doing a Google search, something of that nature. And there's also been proven statistics that 57% of leisure and 64% of business travelers are always starting their search by going on, always starting their travel shopping by going on to search engines like Google and Bing. So we know that search and PPC is a huge part of marketing for travel marketers. Great. So now that we have a little background, let's jump right into our first tip, and that is find an intriguing niche and really dominate it on the SERPs, or the search engine results page. So you really want to get that intriguing niche and get the top places on the SERPs. And the reason that you really want to find a niche within your industry is because it's so competitive. Recently, I conducted a study where I spoke with a lot of our travel clients here at WordStream, and an overlapping theme was that competition is tough with travel. There's so many different services and airlines and hotels and packages, travel packages out there that people are offering to their customers. It's really hard to kind of stand out. And you think it shouldn't be too hard because travel is such an attractive industry, but it can be difficult. So what you can do to stand out is find that intriguing niche. Think about what makes my company different versus my competitor. Ask yourself those critical questions, and kind of try to see it from a new perspective. If everyone's bidding on the same keywords and serving up the same offerings, it's going to be even more challenging. So for an example, maybe you're a beachfront hotel and you offer maybe windsurfing or paragliding packages, and you notice that a lot of the hotels around you don't offer these packages. Highlight that in your ads. Really show those interesting, unique selling points that you have to offer to encourage that searcher to click on your ad versus your competitor's ad.
Yeah, absolutely, Margot. I think it's critical that in this industry that you basically separate yourself from the crowd. So you need to identify what it is about the business that you can feature most prominently that separates you from the competitors, and capitalize on that through the advertising copy and also through the content on the landing pages to maintain that congruence as well. And just looking at some of the data for auction insights, there's lots of competitors. This is some sample data that I've taken from one of my clients. We see that there's a long list of competitors here within the auction insights, and just with that wealth of competition, it's critical that you do whatever it is that you can to stand out so that you're separated and not just lumped in the mix with everyone else just within your space. So it's very critical that you can find something that's descriptive to the business, or that's your niche, and capitalize on that so you can have that prominence to stand out amongst the competitors.
Awesome. And now moving on to our next tip. A good strategy is to create separate campaigns for each destination. And before I get into this tip, I wanted to give you guys a quick poll. I'm wondering, how do you guys currently structure your campaigns in AdWords? So I'll give you a few minutes to respond to that. You can type that in right to the GoToWebinar chat box. And Kate's actually going to get those responses and read those out to us. So we'll give you a couple minutes to submit those responses.
Great. You guys should see the poll question up on your screen right now. We've got some results coming in, and it looks like we're pretty even between all of the options. It's a very close race. Looks like the first two, location and destination, are starting to pull ahead. So I'm going to close the poll now, share the results with you guys. You can see where you fall.
Awesome, thanks, Kate. So that's great that location and destination are kind of pulling ahead, because that's a really great way to structure your campaigns. There's really, I don't want to say that there's one way to do it, because there's, it really depends on your unique business model. But I find that often with travel, structuring based on either location where people are searching from, or the destination that they're attempting to travel to, and where you offer your services, your hotels, whatever it is that you offer, that's usually the most efficient way and best way to just keep everything organized, so you can easily pause and unpause campaigns that might not be relevant for different seasons, things of that nature. So just for a couple examples, you might want to structure by destination if you sell trips in various locations, like for instance Mexico, Peru, Argentina. Maybe you find that Mexico is really your top seller. You really, in that case, probably want separate campaigns so you can allocate a much higher budget to your Mexico campaign easily, and really focus on that more. And then maybe you find that Peru is selling more in a certain season, then you can up that budget for that season. A scenario where you might want to bid on location is, bid on the location where someone is searching, is if you target maybe different locations where the seasons are different. So maybe you sell packages, ski packages to people in New Zealand and also people in the U.S. In New Zealand, they have summer when we have winter, so the seasons are kind of swapped. So in those scenarios, you might want to pause running ads in New Zealand when they're experiencing summer, and you're trying to push ski advertisements on them. It doesn't really work so well. So in that scenario, you might want to structure your campaigns based on location.
Yes, absolutely. So I found that just from my experience as well, structuring by the location or destination has been very successful. It allows you that flexibility based upon the campaign and budgeting, but also for ad scheduling and bidding optimizations as well. So you can really identify where the destination is, and if that's more profitable for your business, you can optimize the bidding or the scheduling for that based upon those parameters. And there's also more targeting flexibility that you can execute with just based upon the structuring in that manner. So if there's an instance where you like to feature a city tour in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you can actually target the city itself and then actually under the exclusions include Philadelphia as well, so that you could target users just interested in that city. So there's that's just one example, but there's a few different things that you can do with the location targeting, and structuring the campaigns as well helps the flexibility of that targeting and the options you have there. So personally, I found this to be really advantageous just in managing accounts and
Great. So let's move on to our next tip. And this tip kind of follows off of Wesley's last point. You really want to bid when and where people are more likely to book. So you want to take those two things into consideration. And you can do this by creating custom ad schedules using the dimensions tabs, but you can actually customize by bidding higher on different locations, days, and hours when people are more likely to plan travel. So to get this data, what you want to do is dig right into the Dimensions tab in Google AdWords. And you want to make sure, of course, that you're looking at a substantial amount of data. So you don't want to just look over 1 week of running your campaigns. You want to give it some time to run so you're actually getting data that is validated, and you know that it's a common pattern, and that maybe making a custom ad schedule is worth your time, and will better allocate your budget. So we tend to see that, for travel, there really are certain trends that go on with when people are booking travel. So you want to keep an eye on those things, and it can be different, per company that you work for, but definitely keep an eye on those things. And one thing you can do, like I said, is dig into the Dimensions tab. So here's a screenshot right from AdWords. You can see the Dimensions tab is located right in that main screen where you do most of your work, and then you can dive right into that View tab right over there to the far left, and you can look at time of day, hours of the day that people are searching for, the days of the week, and then you can also dive right into that geographic tab to see which specific locations your searches are coming from. If you find some common trends, you might want to create a custom ad schedule. So you can do that by going right into your settings of any campaign that you're in, and then creating that custom ad schedule. Maybe you want to bid only Monday through Friday or only the weekends, or you want to bid higher on certain times. There's a lot of flexibility of what you can do in here, but you can get pretty granular with it. And like I said, just keep that data point in mind that you want to have enough data to really make thoughtful and educated decisions before you spend time creating a custom ad schedule.
Yes, and here's some more examples of some of the data. So this is an example, some sample data that I have from a client of mine with some day of week data, and you can use this data to optimize. So just looking at the performance by day, let's say that your client has a $200 CPL goal, which would be cost per converted click in this case. We could look at the performance on each day, and we see that on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, those cost per converted click goals are not met on those days. So that could be an opportunity for optimization there. There's other things that you could look at as well, such as the amount of conversions that you get on each day. So just having all of this data available allows you just a great opportunity to optimize and just keep doing that going forward. And like Margot mentioned, I think it's really important that you make sure that you look at enough data so that it's a substantial amount so you can actually make a reasonable judgment based upon that for the optimizations. Here's another example of a geographic report. So this is some more sample data that we've seen from one of our clients, and we see that we have the locations broken down by the Nielsen geographic regions, and the same principles apply here. So we can look at the metrics, identify where the opportunities for optimization are based upon the goals for the PPC account, and optimize based upon this data as well. So just having all of this data available to you, it's really great because you have so much information to go off of, and all of this is actionable, especially when you're looking at a large date range as well.
Great, so let's move on to our next tip, and this is utilize ad customizers. So this feature is relatively new to AdWords. It was actually released as recently as December of 2014. And for travel, it makes a lot of sense to use these because you're going to be doing a lot of manual updating if you're not using ad customizers. And they work pretty similar to dynamic keyword insertion, so if you're familiar with that. Basically, they allow you to create a sense of urgency within your ads to really encourage people who are searching for your services to maybe book that flight faster or book that hotel faster because there's a special deal and you want to save as much money as possible. So people get pretty encouraged to make a conversion when there's a sense of urgency within your ad, and ad customizers make this so easy. So an example of this is maybe you're a hotel and you're offering an all-inclusive package for a limited amount of time. If you use ad customizers to display how many days are left for that limited deal, which is called a countdown ad customizer, this can really help encourage people. They're so simple to set up as well. All you have to do is actually add a perimeter of text to your advertisement. So it's very easy to do, and I'm not going to go into detail of exactly how to do it right now, just because it's a little bit, kind of weird to explain it over, over the webinar. But there is a blog post at the bottom of this slide, and Kate's also going to send that through the chat box. So if you are interested in setting up ad customizers, I definitely recommend taking advantage of them. People have seen really great success with them, and they're pretty. Larry Kim, our founder at WordStream, has actually listed them as one of the best new features in AdWords.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is something that's really useful in the case if you have offer that changes very frequently. and it saves you the time from having to just go in and manually update that in the copy as well.
Great. So let's move on to our next tip. And our next tip is to get visual on the display network. For travel, we found that there's so much opportunity on the display network, but one major issue on display is that people aren't taking advantage of images. And with travel, your industry is just built for images. It's a beautiful industry. You're advertising vacations and beautiful destinations that people want to travel to. So you should be showcasing all the beauty of your industry through the display network to really encourage people to book a trip, get away, escape, whatever it is, however you want to frame that. But one of the best ways to do it is through an image ad. And an interesting study that we found that we did at WordStream recently, we found that 67% of ads on the network are plain text ads. So this is pretty shocking, and it's kind of upsetting, but it's also not, because it shows how much opportunity you have to really take advantage of image ads. So definitely do this. Another point that I really want to drive home is that you want to be careful to really use all of the formats that you have available. So you can see within here there's 14 different formats that you can use for advertisements, and it's important to use as many formats as you can to get that creative done, because there's certain websites that will only show certain dimensions on their website. So they'll, for example, maybe they'll show banner ads, but they won't show large rectangle ads, and you might have only large rectangle ads. So then you will get excluded from getting that traction on that site. So to combat that, the best thing to do is have an image ad in every single format. I know that sounds like it's a lot of work to create those images, but there is tools, a lot of free tools available, like the tool in Google where you can go in and create those ads. You can use programs like Canva. There's a lot of resources out there to create image ads, and I definitely think it's worth the time put in. So definitely take advantage of this opportunity. Great, and we'll dive right into our next point, and that is to make sure that your images are contextually clear. So you really want to avoid, just showing an image that has, no context in it. So like I said, images are really powerful, but you might get irrelevant clicks if you're just showing an image with no context to that image. So people might be like, oh, that's a great image, and just click on it, and then, maybe they're looking to buy a backpack, but they end up at your site where you're selling, travel packages in New Zealand. You don't want those irrelevant clicks. So to avoid that, what you can do is add context to that image. So this is, one example that I think isn't great. What are they selling here? We're not really sure. It's not clear. But these are two great examples. So you can see these images. They have those gorgeous pictures, but then they say, there's a clear call to action. They're giving you an idea of what they want you to do. You know what's going on. You know what action needs to be taken. So you either will click on the ad if you're interested, or if you're not, you'll just breeze over it. So make sure to add that contextually relevant information there to make sure the image is truly relevant and the clicks you're getting are very relevant. Great, and moving on to our next point, you want to make sure to target, test, and optimize your display campaigns. So display is awesome, it's super powerful, but it is going to eat up your budget if you're not careful. So to combat this, what you should do is don't overcomplicate things for yourself. Start off, if you're new to display, start off with some managed placements. There's so many different ways that you can target on the display network. You have keywords, topics, interests, demographics, but I'd recommend just starting with those managed placements, which basically gives you the ability to pick the websites where you want your ads to show. So you can come up with a list of important sites. Maybe, for example, you sell fishing gear, or sorry, you sell fishing packages. You might want your fishing packages, your travel packages, to show up on a relevant fishing site. So just keep things relevant, choose those websites that you know your customers typically visit, and have that granular control. Once you get comfortable, you might want to expand to targeting by demographic or interest. There's a lot of different things you can do. There's also layering. So definitely, it's a lot of trial and error, but if you start getting return out of the display network, it's pretty much unlimited. And the travel industry, like I said, is such a great industry for display. So definitely, get started with display if you haven't already and try some of these targeting options.
Yes, absolutely. So that continued optimization is very critical, especially with display, just because results can be very volatile if you're not. But one of the reasons that you can maybe prevent this from the outset of launching a campaign in display is just identifying what the objective of the campaign is. So if you're looking to pursue brand awareness of whatever your company may be, or a trip package that you're offering is, that's one way to have a defined objective, and from that you'll know what to focus on. So within a brand awareness objective, you'd be focused on visibility and gaining lots of impressions, whether you'd like those to be really concentrated or also just broad-based, showing on different sites. That's another story there, but the main focus would be to get that impression volume there. So the recommended bidding strategy for that type of objective would be cost per 1,000 impression bidding, or CPM as it's known for short. So that would be useful in that instance. If you're looking just to drive traffic to your website or your landing page, your focus is obviously website visits, and to get those you're looking to drive clicks. So the appropriate bidding strategy would likely be cost per click bidding. And also for just looking to be conversion focused and having the site to drive the consumer acquisition, I think that's something that would be an opportunity to employ cost per acquisition bidding, or CPA bidding for short, especially if you have conversion optimizer enabled in your account. So that's something that you could look to employ as well. But really just knowing what the exact strategy is before you launch a display campaign is very critical, and it'll help you just define the objectives and actually executing the strategy from that standpoint.
Awesome. And the next tip is to create customized remarketing campaigns. So if you're not familiar with remarketing, it's so powerful. It's basically when you cookie someone who's been on your site and then follow them around with ads to kind of remind them about your offerings. And it's been proven so successful for travel marketers, especially because traveling is a financial investment. If someone's going to book travel, they're going to be spending probably a good chunk of change. So they're going to do a lot of research before making a decision. Sales cycles tend to be a bit longer than other industries. For example, e-commerce, when you're making that direct purchase, and if things occur really quick. So you want to stay top of mind, and the best way to do this is with remarketing. And you also want to tailor your campaigns to target, specific people, just because, you want to get kind of more tailored if they visit certain pages on your site. An example here, say you offer a bunch of different packages. Maybe you offer horseback riding and, kayaking and things of that nature, but you want to target someone specifically who visited your whitewater rafting page with whitewater rafting ads. You don't want to, target them with kayaking ads when they're interested in whitewater rafting. So keep things relevant. Create customized remarketing campaigns where you're following people around who visited certain pages. And you can set this up directly in AdWords to really cater your different remarketing campaigns to your different audiences. Great, and our next tip is to create trusted and validated landing pages. So like I said before, traveling is a financial investment. People are spending a lot of money, so before they convert, they need to know that they can trust you. There needs to be trust signals on your landing page. This is so important in travel because they're giving you your confidential information There's a lot of scams out there, and people hate being scammed, of course. They don't want their money to be stolen, so they need to know that your service is legitimate. And you can do this a lot of different ways by using customer testimonials, licenses and certifications, legal information, things of that nature, awards. Maybe you've gotten great reviews from well-known companies, things of that nature. So make sure to incorporate those trust signals throughout your landing page so that people can trust you and they'll be confident to give you their information. And I did want to show this one example. This is actually one of our clients at WordStream, and their company is called Insight Cuba, and this is their landing page. They've done a really great job of showing some of their trust signals here. You can see right here the recommendations from different well-known companies at the top of the page. So you can travel with confidence because you can see that CNN and USA Today, New York Times, those companies that we all know those brands. We can identify with them. If they're recommending this company, it must be legitimate. Then you can also see these customer testimonials of great things that people do to give you some confidence about booking with them. Lastly, you have that legal validation. They're saying they have these certifications. They've been approved to legally travel in Cuba. So all of these things just give you more confidence to book with this company. Make sure your landing pages are doing the same thing as Insight Cuba.
Yes, definitely, Margo. I think that it's very critical that you are able to foster that trust with the user on the landing page. So I think it's critical that you make the necessary information for those users who are potentially looking at travel packages or different items to consume from the travel business. So some of the guidelines that should probably be followed are providing the specifics on what's exactly included in any travel packages, also an FAQ option or a page specifically on the landing page or site just to address common questions that potential travelers may have so they're not left wondering about anything once they visit the site. And also establishing the clarity on pricing details. That's something that it's kind of offsetting to consumers when they'll visit a travel site and the pricing details may just be unclear to them, so that they don't really know what to expect from a price standpoint. So those are some things that can lend itself to being more trustworthy, just establishing that transparency up front with the users who visit your sites. And also from a general user experience standpoint, there's some things that should definitely be taken into consideration. First and foremost, the actual functionality of the site or landing page. So you'd like to make sure that the experience functions well on desktop, tablet, and also mobile devices. So if you see that there's an issue with the mobile device traffic, then that can lend itself to being unsuccessful for potentially getting conversions from that channel. So you really like to make sure that the experience is optimized across devices. Another thing that you also mentioned previously was the imagery and how well that is tailored to the travel industry. So users, when they visit a page, they like to get an idea of where they look to visit or go on a trip or vacation, and having that imagery helps sell this customer on that experience. And having relevant images and high quality images, it does not only it provides that experience, but also having high quality images, it helps the brand and makes it comes across as more professional to the users from that standpoint, just having that included in the landing pages. And also one thing that should be done if possible is to conduct qualitative research. So if you have users that visit the site and they describe the experience, try to get those insights from those users. If you visit lots of travel websites that have different reviews, customers tend to basically detail their experience from the booking process all the way through the completion of their trip. And it needs to be kept in mind that this experience, when they actually visit the landing page, is the genesis of that experience. So if you can get some insights as to how user behavior is on just the landing page visits and the site navigation, that can go a long way just as far as how you can optimize the content on the landing page or site and cater that towards more of the user preferences, and that'll be really beneficial just from a landing page and conversion rate optimization standpoint.
Okay, and our next tip is that if you're seeing return, continue to add fuel. Don't be afraid to add budget to your marketing campaigns that are really becoming super profitable. With travel, the opportunities can be pretty much endless. There's always a huge audience that's growing. We all need a vacation sometimes. We all have to book travel for work. So this is an industry that's really never going to die. And that means that you can really just, add budget to your campaigns that are doing super well. So don't be afraid to do this. One quote that I love from one of our customers is, Vacations to Costa Rica, our customer Jason Bateman, he has this really inspirational story of starting his own business down in Costa Rica. And he said, my business is scalable. I've seen no limit to the number of leads I can get from this. Who cares how much you're spending in AdWords if you're generating a profit? It's a great industry to be in. And this just shows, it's so true. You can keep adding budget to your profitable campaigns and just see more return, especially on display. We found this with so many of our clients who are being successful in travel, that display just makes their business so much more successful by continuing to add budget to those display campaigns that are performing well. So don't be afraid to increase your budgets. If you're already seeing return, you're likely able to even grow that return higher. And moving on to our last point, expand to Bing. So Bing is actually a great industry for travel. We've seen this through data that we've, just different studies that we've conducted with Bing, and it shows that people are searching and booking travel on Bing. So there's a huge opportunity there. And the great thing about Bing is there's actually less competition. So if you're not aware, Bing and Yahoo, which come together, take up about 30% or so of search space. So there are people, actually searching on Bing and booking travel through there, but there's less competition than there is on Google. So if you're looking for more opportunities, don't be afraid you can actually pull your AdWords account directly into Bing. So you don't have to start over and create that, account build-out process. Go right in, hook up your AdWords account, pull it right in, and then just start running that. Maybe you want to start out with smaller budgets, or maybe you just want to run, 2 of your best campaigns to start out, whatever it is. But I definitely recommend, seeing what opportunity and different conversions you can get from Bing, because there definitely is a huge opportunity within that space.
Yes, absolutely, and I've personally seen experience of this with one of my clients as well in the travel industry. It provides really efficient performance, and I think that one of the things that leads Bing to being really successful in the travel industry are some of the details of the Bing audience. So here we have an infographic that shows different characteristics of the Bing audience, and we see that the household income is in excess of $75,000. It's typically over 35 years old, so 72% of users being in that age range. Also 71% attended college and 52% female. And some of these characteristics actually lend themselves to being really catering to the travel industry, because if you think about it, travelers tend to be maybe not that young in age, so they may be a little bit older. They also have more disposable income to use for travel, so that lends itself to that as well. So just keeping in mind the demographics and characteristics of the Bing audience, those are some things that lead itself to being very successful for the travel vertical.
All right, so that about wraps it up for us. I know that Kate's been getting some great questions in, so I'm going to pass it off to Kate, and hopefully Wesley and I can give you guys some good answers.
Great. Thank you, Wesley and Margot, so much. I've got a few questions today, but before we jump in, I want to give you guys a couple offers and a chance to evaluate how your PPC is doing right now. So on the next slide, you will see, one more I think, you'll see that WordStream has 2 free tools to help you guys evaluate the performance of your AdWords account and your landing pages. So if you're wondering how you're doing, how you compare to your competitors and others in the travel industry, this is a great way to get that benchmark and get some personalized recommendations for improving your account. And so you can do this on your own at wordstream.com/Google AdWords or wordstream.com/landing pages. I'm going to on those links to the chat right now, and they take about a minute to run, so it's really fast to get that feedback. Or you can get on the phone with one of our AdWords and Bing certified reps at WordStream, and they'll actually do that one-on-one assessment of your account and your landing pages for you. So you can do it on your own, or we can do it with you. I also want to offer you a chance to learn more about the WordStream Advisor. And so you learned a lot today about how to optimize your AdWords campaigns and things you can do. And I know that that can take up a lot of time. And so WordStream's created a tool to help you manage your campaigns in 20 minutes a week, which I know sounds pretty unbelievable, but it actually does work, and people actually see more conversions while spending less through using this tool. So we can do a quick one-on-one demo of that for you. So I'm going to launch a poll question. You can fill in if you'd like any of those offers. If you don't need any help with your PPC, you're a power user and you're all set, that's fine too. But just click one of those answers in the poll question. One of the questions that I have for Margo and Leslie is how do I know which keywords are best for my business, and how do I do some keyword research? So do you have some strategies and ideas for that?
Yes, this is Wesley. I'll jump in here. I think that one of the most important things actually is keyword research. So based upon the campaign strategy that you have, so if you're employing a strategy that focuses on one location or destination, that will really help itself just within the keyword research. So you'll want to monitor the keywords that you have and the search terms that come in on a regular basis. And once you're able to see any common themes, then you could potentially employ those into your keyword, your base there. But it's a very continual process. You'll see where there aren't any common themes, so it can be tricky from that standpoint, but it's something that you'll really have to monitor. And personally, I found that this may not be the most favorable option, but using broad match keywords, it helps bring in, let's say, a wider net of keywords, and once you're able to grasp that, you can filter through those more efficiently, so you just have more data to look at based upon any potential keyword optimizations or inclusions. So I think that's something that's one of the trickier parts of just dealing with travel, but it's something that should be done very frequently just to monitor and optimize on.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that, and definitely, conducting some research. So looking at, what your offerings are, and then just putting yourself in the shoes of your searcher and asking, if I was looking to book something, what would I search for? If I was looking, to purchase these services that I'm offering, what would I search for? So kind of putting yourself in that perspective. And then there's so many different tools that you can use to research. We have our own keyword tools here at WordStream. There's also, the free keyword tool within Google AdWords interface, so you can get search volumes for different keywords and come up with some different keyword ideas and things of that nature. So just taking the time to put yourself in the shoes of the searcher and also do that keyword research. And then, of course, going off one of our tips is exploring niches that might be unexplored by other industries. So if you're finding that keywords are too expensive to bid on, you might want to look at different niches that are less expensive and less competitive, so that you can afford to bid on those keywords and make sure you're showing up in those top spots.
Those are some great tips. I hope that helps you guys. I'm going to close that poll, and Marta, if you can go back a slide so that we have your contact information up. So if we don't get to your questions today, you can submit them there. I have another question. I'm going to give this to Wesley first because I know you've had a lot of success managing some travel. But what organization have you done that's had the biggest impact on improving quality score?
Yes, that's a really good question. I'd say that the biggest thing is making adjustments to advertising copy. So we found that we were featuring the testimonials for one of our clients because that was one of their largest calling cards. But adjusting that to more experience-based ad copy that lend itself to producing higher click-through rates and the boost in quality score from that as well. So I think that monitoring how your ad copy is performing and continually doing testing there, that's the biggest opportunity that I've had just within optimization for a boost in quality score.
For sure, and adding off of that, I think ad extensions are a great way to kind of improve the space that your ad is taking up, and also just to add in additional selling points to your ad. And just making those improvements to your account and your advertisement and making sure that you have a lot of relevancy throughout, those things are going to help your quality score in the end. So I wouldn't just focus on that quality score metric. I would focus on improving your account, and with that, you'll probably see a boost in quality score.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Do you guys have any thoughts about buying PPC on search, AdWords and Bing versus buying ads on TripAdvisor or other sites like that?
Yes, so
sorry, go ahead, Wesley.
Okay. Yeah, so personally, I don't have any other experience just within maybe like TripAdvisor or anything like that, but I would say that there is a wealth of opportunity just within the travel industry just to maybe expand away from just the popular platforms like AdWords and Bing. I know that there's opportunity for some native advertisements. There's platforms there, I think Yahoo Stream ads and things like that that are opportunities for penetration for different markets. And I think that there's more things that you can do just outside of AdWords and Bing as well. But personally, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm looking forward to implementing more of those things as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it wouldn't hurt to experiment with different, things like advertising on TripAdvisor, especially if you know that your clients are on TripAdvisor, then why not? The display network does cover 95% of sites on the internet, so you're going to get a lot of traction from that. And also, experimenting with other things like Wesley said, maybe trying Facebook advertising, advertising on Twitter, things of that nature. So there's a lot of different opportunities that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, WordStream's had some success advertising on paid social, and I know that you can get really targeted by industry. So I don't know if it'll work for you guys, but you can get targeted by industry. I'm going to take this last question here for you guys. Have you had any success tracking the search behavior between devices like mobile and desktop? And can you tell me about the attribution model utilized?
Yes, so I've seen that specifically within devices that mobile tends to spend more, and conversions typically come at a higher cost per lead. So we've done, with working with my client, we've done some work to kind of mitigate that. We've done some bid optimizations and adjustments based upon that. However, once we implemented those, we really didn't see too much of a carryover as far as the attribution based upon devices. So we weren't seeing that many assist impressions or conversions or clicks based upon going from cross devices. But I think that that's something that is definitely should be a consideration in the strategy, is monitoring that device performance.
Yeah, I agree. I think mobile's definitely a huge opportunity. So you should look in, and every company is different on how much mobile traffic they're getting. So do the research. You can actually look in AdWords to see how many clicks and conversions you're getting from mobile directly too. So keep those things in mind, and make mobile bid adjustments if necessary. But I can definitely imagine that within the travel industry, people are searching on their phones, whether it's on their commute to work and they're daydreaming about going on a vacation and things of that nature. So definitely, do the research and kind of go from there.
And we actually got one last question, so maybe we can get a quick answer. Do managed placement, is that something you can do on remarketing?
Yes, so we have not the managed placements on remarketing simply because we just like to target the users who have been cookied on whatever page that we like to target. So it's a bit of a case of looking to target the users as they browse through other pages on the web. So it's not necessarily just implementing a placement and trying to track them there, because I'd say that's a bit of more of a difficult task there, because you're actually counting on the user visiting one site once you've already reached them. So because I have found that the remarketing is very advantageous just from a cost per lead standpoint and overall lead standpoint too. So it's very successful just without having used managed placements. I'm not totally sure that that's available either, but yeah, I think that's just my experience having dealt with that. So.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want to limit your reach with those, just because with remarketing, you're already cooking those certain people that are qualified, so you might as well keep it open to showing them ads on different websites. And you can always exclude irrelevant sites if you don't want to show your ads there.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. And these are some great questions we got in, so I appreciate you guys sending those all in. And before you go, we want to tell you a little bit about that conference that we mentioned earlier. So I'm going to pass you over to Hanapin to start sharing that information with you.